All right, I said we have one viewer question for the investment committee, so everybody's going to answer. It comes from Daniel in Sacramento, California. I'm already long on quality tech, and he lists Microsoft and Adobe, Apple and Google and Facebook, and want to get into semis. So would you recommend buying individual companies, NXPI, NVIDIA, AMD, for example, or buy a mutual fund or ETF like the FSELX or similar? Liz Young, you get the first crack at this. What do you think?
Well, I can't give individual security names, so I'll let the guys do that. But really the question is, would you be in semis? And the answer to that is yes. I'm looking at a cyclical trend in semis. If you look at semis having broken out versus software, that's a cyclical signal. So even if you're a little bit worried about tech and rising rates, I think semis are a good place to be over the next 6 to 12 months. Weiss,
Daniel wishes he was in AMD before today because the stock right now, new all-time high, it's up 11.5%. But what about that? So individual names, a fund, what do you think is the best strategy?
Well, if you can do the work, individual names to me is always better. But for the average, say, retail investor, the SMH will do quite well. Look, you're at that inflection point where the supply chain is getting better, and you'll see the growth return to semis. I added to my NVIDIA calls, and I think they're going to report just a blowout quarter when they report on the 17th. So I mentioned Skyworks and Qorvo before, extremely cheap. So I don't think you can go wrong owning individual stocks, again, but you have to be able to do the work.
So, Joe, you know, you're up 80% in AMD, I see. You're up 44% in NVIDIA. Top of the show, you talked about maybe a change in momentum, and I'm not sure if you would lump these in with that sort of view that you have. But in light of that, how do you answer the question?
I checked it during the show, both NVIDIA and AMD. The proprietary model that I run for momentum, the buy signal is as strong as it's ever been. So no, momentum is not waning. To Stephen's point, the SMH up 9% in November, up 17% quarter to date. To Liz's earlier comments and John's about the economy is beginning to reaccelerate higher, both domestically and globally. And we know what semiconductors are in terms of their relevancy in the growth of the overall economy. Probably, without question, the most singular, most relative and positive industry for that growth.
All right, we go lastly to you, Doc.
I'm in the SMH, I'm in NVIDIA, and I'm in AMD. And those would be the ways that I would play it, Scott. I think that NVIDIA, you get a two-pronged approach here. One, you get crypto, because they're some of the most popular chips for miners. And two, you get all of the graphics processing units, the GPUs, that people need to enjoy the metaverse and all the rest. So I love all three of those. And if you need that broad market exposure, SMH is the one I'd pick.